Welcome, friends, to what is maybe the most important talk we have had to give in a long time. I want to talk to you today about something that just happened. It is an event that the big news channels will call a fight between two people. They will say it is drama between two men wearing suits. They will tell you it is about Donald Trump and Mark Carney. They will say it is about a bad meeting. But I am here to tell you that what we are seeing is much bigger, much deeper, and much more dangerous. We are watching the exact moment when the American empire, trying hard to keep its power that is falling apart, tried to attack and take from its own neighbor, its own close friend. For maybe the first time in 70 years, it found that its bite did not work. This is not a story about a trade fight. This is a story about the end of a whole time period. It is the story of a system, global capitalism run by America, that has no more space to grow. Now it has started the ugly and unavoidable step of eating itself to stay alive for just one more money period. Let us look at the facts of what happened at 2:14 p.m. today. We are told that Mark Carney walked out of the West Wing. He did not do the big dramatic show that American politics loves so much. He did not act like the reality TV star who is now in the Oval Office. He just left. Now, why does this matter? To understand this, you have to know the history of how the United States and Canada get along. For many years, people have called this friendship a partnership between equals. But any economist or historian who looks at the movement of money and resources knows the truth. This has never been a real partnership. It has been a relationship where one side depends on the other. Canada gives the raw stuff like wood, oil, and minerals, and the United States uses it up and provides the money. It is a classic setup where one side is the center and the other is on the edge. It has been handled in a polite and quiet way, but always for the good of American money. What happened today is that this polite control broke. The nice mask came off. The true strong power rules of empire were shown openly for everyone to see. We have reports of a paper written by the Trump team called the Northern Alignment Protocol. Listen to those words carefully. In the language of empires, alignment means you give in. It means you follow me. I do not follow you. This paper was not a trade deal. It was an order to take over. It demanded that Canada give control of its energy sales to Washington. It demanded that Canada put American taxes on goods from China. That would take away Canada's own control over its economy to help American protection rules. It demanded that the Canadian dollar be locked to the US dollar. That would basically end the Bank of Canada as its own free group. In economics, we call this new-style colonialism. It is trying to control another country's money system without the trouble of sending in soldiers. It is the wish of every weak empire to take the wealth of its friends to fix its own broken walls. Donald Trump, in his simple deal-making style, thought he could just demand this. He thought the huge size of the American market and all the loud American talk would make Canada give up. He was wrong. And why was he wrong? This is the big lesson for us today. He was wrong because power in the world money system has changed. We are not in 1950 anymore. We are not in 1990 anymore. The United States is no longer the clear boss it used to be. Its economy is based too much on finance. It has lost real factories. It depends on loans and printing more money. Its industry is broken. Its government is stuck because people are so divided. Into this empty space steps Mark Carney. Let us be clear. Mark Carney is not a socialist. He is not a friend of regular workers. He is a man from big finance. He is a central banker. He is a top expert in systems. He stands for the interests of world money, Goldman Sachs, the Bank of England, the Royal Bank of Canada. But here is the strange part, the conflict at work. Because he stands for the safety of money, he could not sign that paper. The shaky place of America, the wild nature of its demands, has become a danger to the whole world money order. When Carney walked out, it was not just Canadian pride. It was the world money system telling American leaders, you have gone too far. Now you are a problem. The way the markets reacted proves this. Look at what happened. The US dollar fell hard. The S&P 500 dropped a lot. Why? Markets hate not knowing what will happen. Yes, but more than that, they hate being alone. The American rich have kept their money by being the center of the world web. If you cut the lines, if you push away your partners, the whole web falls apart. Trump thought he was scaring Canada. Really, he was scaring the basic connections of the North American money system. The markets saw it right away. When Carney said the energy grid in New York could fail, he was not making a war threat. He was saying a simple money fact. The two economies are joined so deeply that you cannot pull them apart without big damage. The United States needs Canadian energy. It needs a calm border to the north. By trying to turn a friend into a servant, the Trump team risked turning off the lights in its own money city. This is the crazy part of late-stage capitalism. It gets so hungry for quick wins and for looking strong that it does things that hurt itself. It saws off the branch it sits on because it needs the wood for a fire tonight. I want to take you inside the room where this happened. We are told Trump was yelling, listing complaints, even talking about the War of 1812. This is the show of a mind that cannot focus. It is what a leader does when he has no real answers for his people. So he gives them exciting fights. He cannot fix the loss of factories in the Midwest. He cannot fix broken roads and bridges. He cannot fix the huge gap between rich and poor in America. So he makes up an enemy. He points to Canada and says, "They are why you suffer. They steal your wood jobs. They hurt our milk farmers." It is the old trick of blaming someone else. But Mark Carney did not take the role of the blamed one. He sat there calm, dressed neatly, refusing to join the show. He treated the President of the United States not as a king but as a danger to handle. The United States is our neighbor. You are not our boss. That idea hits hard because it shows the truth behind the special friendship. It shows that under the handshakes and fancy dinners, there is a fight for power. For the first time in many years, the United States looked away first. This walkout is a message to the rest of the world. If Canada, the quietest, most polite, most joined ally of the United States, can say no, what does that say to Europe? What does it say to Japan? What does it say to the countries in the global south? It says the big boss has no real power left. It says the threat of American money anger is not as strong as before. The balance of power is changing. We are moving to a world with many centers, a world where the United States cannot give orders alone anymore. This scares the American leaders a lot. That is why the White House tries to hide the money numbers. That is why they call this a win, or a betrayal. They cannot admit they tried to push around a big country in the G7 and lost. They cannot admit they gave a surrender paper to a banker and he gave it back. Because if they admit that, they admit the time of clear American control is finished. We must also think about what this means for regular working people in both countries. Do not be wrong when these big powers fight. It is the small people who get hurt. A trade war, a money crisis, broken energy lines. Who pays? It is not Mark Carney with his millions. It is not Donald Trump in his gold building. It is the car factory worker in Ontario, whose plant closes because of taxes. It is the nurse in New York whose power bill goes way up because the grid shakes. It is the family trying to buy food while money values jump around. This is the wrong part of the system. Decisions come from fancy offices and meeting rooms based on pride, profit, and empire plans. But the pain hits at the kitchen table. The Northern Alignment Protocol was not made to help American workers. It was made to help big American companies destroy their rivals. And Carney's no was not made to help Canadian workers. It was made to protect Canadian money control. We are stuck between fighting ruling groups. But there is hope in looking at this clearly. The hope is in seeing the system as it really is. It is not unbeatable. It is weak. It makes its own problems. When the nice cover breaks as it did today at 2:14 p.m., we see the real machine. We see that power does not live in a president's loud talk. Power lives in the real movement of energy, goods and work. Carney said you will lose the energy grid in New York State by Friday. Think about that. The real power is in the grid. The real power is in the work that built the grid and the resources that run it. Politicians and bankers are only the doorkeepers. If we understand this, we understand we do not have to just watch their show. We can build a movement that demands an economy for us, not one that uses countries like cards in a game and workers like things to throw away. They say the divorce has started, but maybe it is time for a different divorce. A divorce from a system that turns neighbors against each other for the profit of a few. We will keep looking at this. We will study the exact parts of this Northern Alignment Protocol and show how it was built to take wealth. We will look at the history of US-Canada ties to prove this attack is not new, only the loudness is new. We will talk about what this means for the future of North America, because history moves fast now. The quiet end of the empire is finished. The loud part has started. We need to be ready to understand it, to question it, and to organize inside it. Stay with me. This is just the start of the breakdown. We left off standing in the mess of a big diplomatic crash, looking at the closed door of the West Wing. But now we must do the close examination. We must take this Northern Alignment Protocol, this paper Donald Trump tried to force on a free country, and cut it open. When you look inside, you do not find a trade plan. You do not find a way for both sides to grow. You find the wild grabbing of a dying thing. You find the hard fear of an empire that knows inside its time is gone. Let us look at the details, because the bad parts hide in the small things. Demand number 2. Canada must put a 100% tax on all Chinese electric cars and battery parts. Understand what this means. This is not about safety. This is not about saving jobs. If the big American car companies in Detroit and the tech people at Tesla were really the best inventors, they would not need a wall of taxes to live. They would make better, cheaper, stronger cars. But they cannot. They spent years putting money into buying their own stock instead of new ideas. They turned their companies into money games that also build cars. So what does the American money system do? It does not try to win by being better. It uses government power to block the other side. But here is the problem. Canada is its own market. If Canada buys cheap, good electric buses and cars from China, life gets cheaper for Canadians. Transport costs less. Their economy works better. Trump's demand is this. Canada, you must make your economy worse. You must make your people pay more for worse American things, so our owners keep their money each 3 months. It is a demand for Canada to make itself poorer on purpose to pay for American weakness. Mark Carney, a man who studies money reports every day, looked at that and saw it clearly. It was a tax on Canada's tomorrow to pay for America's yesterday. Then there is the demand for limits on energy sales. Washington decides how much oil from Alberta can be sold. This takes us back to the old meaning of empire. What is a colony? It is a place where outsiders make the money choices for their own good. For 100 years, the United States has done this to Latin America. It has done this to the Middle East. Now as those places get free, it looks north with hungry eyes. It sees the oil in Alberta, not as something for Canadian people, but as a supply for the American war machine. By demanding control of the flow, Trump tried to turn Canada into a huge gas station where the owner has no key. It is the worst kind of resource problem, not from nature but from a neighbor who used up his own and now wants yours. And the worst demand of all, the money lock, the demand that the Canadian dollar ties to the US dollar. In economics, if you control a country's money, you control its future. If the Canadian dollar is locked, the Bank of Canada cannot cut interest to help growth in hard times unless the US does it first. It cannot make its money cheaper to sell more outside. It gives up the main tool of money, freedom. It makes the Canadian leader a local boss who answers to the US money head. Trump thought he could demand this because he believes the US dollar is still the only choice. He forgets the BRICS countries are growing. He forgets the euro is there. He forgets the world is full of US debt and looking for escape, not more weight. By saying no, Carney was not just saving the Canadian dollar. He was refusing a seat on a sinking ship. Now let us look bigger. Why is this happening right now? History shows empires are most dangerous when they start to fall. When the British Empire began to break, it did not go easy. It fought hard. The United States now faces a money problem. Its home markets are full. Its people are loaded with debt from cards and school. Real pay has not grown for 50 years. There is no more to take from the American people. So money must grow outward. It must find new places to control, new things to take, new people to get value from. This Northern Alignment Protocol was an attempt to eat the closest, nicest economy it could reach. It is like a starving man looking at his best friend and seeing food. But this attack went wrong in a big historical way. By walking out, Carney sped up the thing Trump feared most, the end of America being the only power in North America. We are now in the time of separation. Like any separation with big things to divide, it will be hard and messy. We already see signs. The quiet on the trading floors in Chicago and New York was not just surprise. It was thinking. Money moves where it wants. It has no country. If the United States becomes wild, pushy, and hard to predict, money will go somewhere else. We will see Canada turn other ways. It will hurt, yes. Changing supply lines that have gone north-south for 100 years is huge work. But look at the other choice. The other choice is giving in to a wild, falling power. We may see Canada get closer to the European Union. We may see more quiet links to Asia. We are watching the North American group break apart. The idea of one strong North America bloc is dead. Trump killed it. He killed it because he did not see that a strong place needs people who trust their leader. He treated them like prisoners. The prisoners walked out the gate. What does this mean for you? For the normal person watching, trying to pay rent, trying to buy food, it means things will shake. It means the cheap things, the steady energy prices, the normal money patterns we thought would always be there are ending. The ruling groups of these countries have broken their promise. They are now fighting openly. When big animals fight, the grass gets crushed. In the next weeks, people will tell you to choose a side. American news will tell you to hate Canadians for cheating. Canadian news will tell you to hate Americans for pushing. They will push national pride into you like a drug to make you forget the real problem. Do not believe it. The car worker in Detroit has more in common with the car worker in Windsor than with Donald Trump. The nurse in Toronto has more in common with the teacher in Chicago than with Mark Carney. Both are hurt by a system that puts money first before people. Both are pieces in a game played by rich people who never worry about heat bills or tomato prices. This separation is a fight between different parts of the money class. One part, led by Trump, wants to go back to country-only rules, a closed area where they can use their own workers without others competing. The other part, led by Carney, wants to keep the world open money system where big finance moves free. Neither part cares about you. One wants to lock you in, the other wants to sell you away. So where is hope? Hope comes from seeing the system is cracking. When the empire machine stops, when the polite rules burn up, it makes an opening. It shows these things are built by people, and people can take them apart. Mark Carney walking out proves saying no is possible. If a money boss can say no to the US president because the deal hurts business, then regular workers can surely say no to the whole system because the deal hurts people. We need a new plan, not a northern alignment plan, but a workers' alignment plan. A plan that joins the interests of working people across lines. That says energy should be for everyone, not a weapon between countries. That says new tech should help all, not be blocked by taxes. That says money should serve people, not gamblers. The time of the quiet, polite American empire is over. The loud time has started. The yelling on the stock floor is the sound of the old world ending. Do not fear the noise. Listen to it. Study it. Know it is the sound of weakness, not power. In that weakness, let us find our own power. Let us build a togetherness that does not stop at borders. A movement that does not bow to papers on a desk. The separation is done. The future of the continent is open. Let us make sure it does not go to the Trumps or the Carneys, but to the people who made it. Thank you for being with me in this talk. The history books will say today ends one chapter. It is up to us to write the next one. I am Richard Wolff, and this is the truth the White House tried to hide. Good night, and let us get to work.